Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Tales from the Tacklezone. This is our series that is dedicated to our Blood Bowl battle reports, and this is Season 2, Game 6, taking place in the New World Conference. This game will be played between my two friends, Fresh Prince Bel-Air, as well as the Kiddo. Fresh Prince Bel-Air is playing the Elf Union team, the Elfheim Eagles. So he'll be representing the Elves in the New World Conference, while my little sister, the Kiddo, will be playing the Skavenblight Scramblers of the Skaven. She'll be participating in the New World Conference as well. And this will actually end the very first round of games between both the New World as well as the Old World Conference. So far, our campaign and our league is doing very, very well, so we're loving the game so far. As you can see, though, there is a little bit of a problem. If you notice, the audience members for the Skavenblight Scramblers are actually Dark Elves. And the reason why is because I personally don't have any Skaven, large amount of Skaven miniatures in our studios collection. We have a couple for Mordheim that we use, but that's really about it, not enough to make an audience. And I really don't feel like buying a box set of Skaven just to make audience members for a game of Blood Bowl because, well, I am a cheapskate at heart. So here is the overall narrative. The idea is supposed to be that once Wood Elves, High Elves, and Dark Elves became one team for the Elfheim Eagles, the Elf Union, the Dark Elves felt very sore about it, did not like having to join up with them. So because of that, they were showing up for all the Skaven games just to stick it to their High Elf brethren. So narratively that fits. So that's what we're going to do for this. So as always, you guys, we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we will show you guys videos of both teams as well as their starting rosters. If you want to see exactly what the teams are bringing for this one, go ahead and pause and take a look at your leisure. So with that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, so now we're back with the kickoff. So, as you can see, the Elfheim Eagles are going to be kicking off in this first half of the game, and the Skavenblight Scramblers will be receiving because they actually won the toss-up. So because of that, for the second half, the Elfheim Eagles will be receiving as well. Now, the ball originally landed right over here, but in between these two players, it bounced 6 spaces to the end zone, so it ended up being a touchback. So because of that, Plague Rule the Effective, which the thrower of the team has possession of the ball, so it automatically becomes a touchback. When it came to the kickoff event, it ended up being brilliant coaching. So because of the Elfheim Eagles won the toss-up on that one, so because of that now, they have 3 rerolls instead of 2 for this one. So because of that, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and we go for the Skavenblight Scramblers. Alright, so starting with turn number 1 for the Skavenblight Scramblers, and right off the bat, disaster strikes. What ended up happening is player number 4, Blitzer, Mage is his name. He originally was located in this wide zone here. He tries to pull a blitz action, directly against player number 5, Blitzer, Masteran Pure Sky. But unfortunately, when you ran into him, you ran a player down. So because of that, my little sister, the kid, decided not to reuse one for reroll. She figured, hey, what's the worst that could possibly happen? Penetrated his armor, caused a casualty roll on top of that. So he is badly hurt, so he will miss out for the rest of the game. And just like that, the Kiddo is now handicapped 1 Blitzer and causes immediate turnover. So because of that, we go directly to the top of turn number 1 for my buddy Fresh Prince Bel-Air and the Elfheim Eagles. Alright, so it takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Elfheim Eagles, and some dramatic things have occurred. First of all, Blitzer number 5, that character's name is Masteran Pure Sky, the same guy who put Mage out directly into the casualty box. He pulls a blitz action, moving all the way across the table and throwing a block directly into Plague Rule the Infected, getting a power result. Managed to push him a square, penetrate his armor, put a stun result on him. So because that Plague Rule the Infected is now seeing stars, at the same time causing the ball to bounce. Meanwhile, Prince Blair took his throwers as well as his linemen from over here on the right hand side, had him sweep through the open that has now occurred and started making a defensive perimeter around this ball, so that way in the next turn they could possibly grab it and move forward. At the same time, he also moved up a couple of his blockers as the blitzer as well as his thrower up the top to pin down these gut runner as well as the blitzer, so that way they have to take an agility test to try to escape those tackle zones. So right now, things are not looking really good right now for the Kiddo. So with turn number 1 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 2, and we start off with the Skavenblight Scramblers. So that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. Probably the most impressive thing that took place is player number 5, lineman number 5. His name is Morphin. Morphin actually used his turn to move in, grab the ball that was bounced right out of Plague World the Infected's hands, managed to pass the agility test to exit the tackle zone for player number 5, Master Pure Sky, and actually did a hook, moving all the way directly back to the top of the wide zone, trying to make his way directly to score a touchdown. Meanwhile, while that was happening, of course, the gutter runner, Scythe of Skavenblight, he actually moved and did a blitz action, skirting around these players and smashing directly into the blitzer, Mazaran Pure Sky. Managed to get a both knockdown result. Unfortunately, he's only strength 2 versus strength 3, so because of that, Fresh Prince Bel-Air got to choose what result it was. It was either a POW or a both knockdown result, so because I decided, might as well take his opponent with him. They both go crash on the ground. They both, of course, don't suffer any injuries. However, though, it does cause immediate turnover for turn number 2. So because of that, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Elf Union. So going to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Elven Union, as you can see, some dramatic things have taken place. So first of all, my friend Fresh Prince Bel-Air actually moves a couple of his players up forward. The first thing he does, he actually stands up his blitzer, Mazaran Pure Sky, puts him within the tackle zone of player number 5, Morphin, which is the lineman who carries the ball. However, he decided to do a blitz action real quick with player 12, which is Enrolair Black Karen, one of his linemen, actually does a blitz action, moving up and smashing directly into Morphin, but it ended up being a push result, pushing him back 1 square. From there, of course, my buddy Dark Lord Mac, Dark Lord Mac, I apologize. My friend Fresh Prince Bel-Air decided to activate one of his catchers. His name is Liaster Bright Knife. He actually moves up and goes directly into his tackle zone as well, so that way he can't move, and he was also kind of blocked off from the rest of the team. However, the craziest thing that actually took place is up here with this catcher up here. That catcher's name is Kazran Gladshore. He tries to do a block action directly into Toxiat, the gutter runner. Unfortunately, they both got knocked down result as a result for that, and of course, both their armor was penetrated, and both of them got stunned. So both of them are currently knocked out right now on the sidelines, and because of that, it caused immediate turnover, bringing an end to turn number 2. So with turn number 2 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and my friend, the Kiddo, will be going first. Alright, so we go to the top of turn number 3 for the Kiddo and the Skavenblight Scramblers. As you can see, quite a bit of dramatic things have taken place, especially over here. So first of all, my sister picks up Plague World the Infected, has him move up directly towards the end zone, right across from player number 5, Morphin. And from there, player number 5, Morphin, does a short pass, and it's a complete pass directly towards Plague World the Infected, which is the thrower who catches the ball, earning himself also a national star player point. From there, Scythe of Skavenblight also gets back on his feet again and moves up a position in order to protect Plague World the Infector from being tackled by these 2 players over here. Meanwhile, over here on the top, this blitzer, that blitzer's name is Charge Attack, the Dominator. He actually passes initial test, escaping from this blitzer over here. That blitzer's name is Galadrilan, the Shadow Star. He actually moves over directly to the top of the white zone over here. Looks like he's trying to set up a play so that way the Kiddo can throw the ball directly toward Blitzer, and our Blitzer can then skirt along the sideline and try to escape that way. However, the most dramatic play, took place over here with player number 7, his lineman. His name is Bubonique of the Putrid Stump. He tries to move out directly from this tackle zone. It looks like she's trying to give herself some options to move down over here so that way she can have multiple options for a throw. But unfortunately, he fails his agility test in the tackle zone here. It's because it caused a knockdown, which of course caused immediate turnover. So because of that, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 3 for the Elfheim Eagles. Alright, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 3 for the Elfheim Eagles, and the first thing that ends up happening is that Fresh Prince Bel-Air activates his Blitzer Master in Pure Sky. He actually does a blitz action going around the tackle zone of Scythe of Skavenblight. Magic passes agility test twice, gets a push result, and pushes Plague World the Infected directly into the end zone, and just like that, touchdown for the Elfheim Eagles. So just like that, the Elfheim Eagles now have 1 touchdown over their opposed Skavenblight Scramblers. We're going to come back real quick after my friends re-rack and redeploy, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the game. Alright, so we are now back after the kickoff event. As you can see, both teams are now lined up. Once again, the Elfheim Eagles are kicking directly towards the Skavenblight Scramblers. And this time when the ball kicked off, it ended up being a high kick, and the ball literally translated all the way directly at the top of the end zone, or right zone over here, and ended up bouncing right in that square. But because it was a high kick, the Kiddo then activated Tacklezone, or Gutter Runner, to move directly into the square the ball was going to land. Managed to pass his initiative agility test. So because he caught the ball, so right off the bat, the Kiddo will be in possession of the ball at the beginning of turn number 4. So with the kickoff over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 4 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So that takes us directly to the top of turn number 4 for the Skavenblight Scramblers, and quite a bit of action has taken place over here on the pitch. So first of all, let's talk about what ended up happening. So up here in the wide zone, unfortunately for my friend's Fresh Prince Bel-Air, he actually left 2 squares open up here on the top, which was easy enough for these Skaven to actually slip right through. So you can see right here, Toxiad, as well as the other blitzer, what's his name, Amu Mage. Those guys are not Amu Mage. That'd be Chargatek, the Dominator. They basically picked up the ball, moved directly to this open space that had a space between this thrower and this catcher, as well as the wide zone, and moved all the way their max moving allowance around the top. Now, Taxiad decided to rush twice, so that way he can move forward both squares. Passes initiative test for both sides, so he's only a couple squares away from actually scoring a touchdown. Meanwhile, to keep her options open, the Kiddo did exactly the same thing with her 2 players down over here, using a lineman as well as a gutter runner, moving along the wide zone as well, exploiting that gap that took place right over here and slipping right through. Meanwhile, the Kiddo then took a couple players in order to mark these players over here as well as over there and over there, so that way they can't rush without trying to pass agility test first. And Scalpific, the Rat Ogre, managed to punch in the line of scrimmage, knocking down a couple of players at the same time. Same thing with this blocker as well as this blocker as well, pushing down a couple of players and opening up the play. And that pretty much makes the top of turn number 4. So with turn number 4 over with for the Skavenblight Scramblers, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 4 for my friend Fresh Prince Bel-Air and the Elfheim Eagles. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 4 for the Elfheim Eagles. So there's a lot of dramatic things that happened. First of all, up here in the wide zone, once again, that blitzer is pretty much being the MVP of this game. Mazrin Pure Sky does a blitz action, moving all the way from the wide zone, all the way over and rushes forward once and actually tackles Rex and Toxiad, pushing him directly into the crowd. So because that Toxiad is put as a casualty, and because I was badly hurt, so he will miss out the rest of the game. So just like that, the Kiddo is now short 2 players on her roster. One a gutter runner, the other one a blitzer, which is pretty bad. So because of that, the ball gets thrown in. Originally gets thrown in over here into the end zone. So because it gets thrown over again and lands over in this square, which then brings to my friend Fresh Prince Bel-Air's next action. He sends his catcher Cassirium Gladshore. That's the catcher against the ball. And the reason why that is the case is because over here his blitzer named Galandranan Shadow Star, there we go, managed to throw a block directly into this guy, managed to push player number 7, Boomanik of the Future Strump, over one space over, freeing up that catcher. So because that Cassirian Glacier moves all the way past the line of scrimmage to where the ball is land, rushes one square and picks up the ball, and is now currently in the possession of the ball. Now, remainder for the turn, my friend Fresh Prince Bel-Air pretty much stood up his players, also got into good blocking positions. However, his catcher, player number 1, Ryan the Bright Wand, he tries to escape out of this tackle zone over here for this player. Unfortunately, as he tries to leave, though, he gets stumbled, so because he does fall to the ground, which caused an immediate changeover. I think what my friend Fresh Prince Bel-Air trying to do is get his catcher over here, so that way he can throw the ball directly to his thrower. His thrower can then throw the ball to his catcher, and then his catcher can take it to the end zone. I think that's what my friend is trying to do. So because that ends up turn number 4 for the Elves, and we go directly to the top of turn number 5 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. Alright, so it takes us directly to the top of turn number 5 for the Skavenblight Scramblers, and over here on the side of the table, we get a touchdown number 1 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So let's talk about exactly what ended up happening. First of all, player number 5, that player's name is Morphin. He actually moves from directly this sideline over here, manages to escape the tackle zone out of player number 10. That player's name is Mornim Swifthand. Actually manages to escape out of that using his agility test, moves directly next to this catcher, player number 4, Cassirion Galadshore. Doesn't actually blitz him, but just gets in there to lend some support. Meanwhile, over here on the top, blitzer number 3, Chargatek the Dominator, actually blitzes all the way from the top wide zone directly into player number 4, Kassirian, manages to knock him over as well, pushes him back, doesn't suffer any injuries, but it does cause the ball to bounce one spot. It actually lands right behind him. So Chagarek, the Dominator, manages to dominate player number 4, Kassirian, by throwing him into the ground. Now, meanwhile, this crazy Skaven, Scythe of Skavenblight, he actually moves directly from the wide zone, skirts around these two players, picks up the ball, and finishes up his activation by going directly to the end zone, scoring the first touchdown for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So because of that, we now go directly back to the kickoff. Our friends will come back after they re-rack their players, and we'll talk about exactly what happens. Alright, so now we're back to the kickoff. Once again, both teams are assembled now for the ball to proceed for the rest of the game. When the ball actually landed over here, but then scattered over one space short of actually crossing the line of scrimmage. So that's where the ball is located at, which is both good and bad for both the Elfheim Eagles as well as the Skavenblight Scramblers. It's bad for the Skavenblight Scramblers because it's so close to their half, so that way they can, Elfheim Eagles could actually score a touchdown easier. But it's also good for them because they could try to get repossession of the ball, and then of course they could start taking directly towards their opponent's end zone. At the same time, it's also good and bad for the Elfheim Eagles. It's good because it's close enough for them to easily score a touchdown if they're lucky, but it's also bad because it's also close enough for the Skavenblight Scramblers to regain possession of the ball. At the same time, the kickoff was on this one was kickoff number 7 on this one, so because of that, both teams had to roll off to figure out who would get the extra reroll for this drive. The Elfheim Eagles won that one, so now they have 3 rerolls for this rest of the remainder of the first half, or until the drive ends. And currently right now the Skavenblight Scramblers only have 2, and the reason why is because the Kiddo used one of her rerolls last turn in order to score her touchdown. So with that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 5 from the Elfheim Eagles. Alright, so now we're back at the bottom of turn number 5, and this is after the kickoff has taken place. And as you can see, some dramatic things end up happening so far on the table. So the first thing that ended up happening, of course, is that player number 5, that blitzers was really kicking butt this time. Master Pure Sky threw a blitz directly into this lineman, basically freeing up this entire area. So because of that, the catcher, player number 4, Kassirian Gladsher, actually moved up and picked up the ball and actually rushed forward 2 spaces, heading directly towards the end zone to score another touchdown. At the same time, another blitzer, that character's name is Galandranan Shadowstar, actually moves up directly from the wide zone, moves up directly to help them with support as well. Meanwhile, over here at the next page, over here on the bottom, if you look right here, another player for the Kiddo actually got injured on this one. This player is player number 8, Itcaster the Burnt. He suffered a broken arm casualty, so because he has -1 to his passing ability. Meanwhile, that player number 9, that player's name is Tornelin Sure Eye, also earned 2 star player points in the process of doing so as well. So just like that, things are not looking very good right now for my little sister the Kiddo. 3 members of her team are currently out as casualties. Now at the same time, it should also be stated that Scalpovic also earned 2 points. The Rat Ogre managed to put an injury on player number 7. Player number 7's name is Camernath Tendersong. He actually gets a badly hurt injury, so because of he's also in the injury box as well. At the same time, the last 2 catches of the team also scoot up in order to add some support, and that pretty much makes up this turn for this part. So with this turn over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 6 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. Alright, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 6 for the first half, and once again, some dramatic things have occurred. First of all, Plague Rule the Infected actually moves from his wide zone directly to the other second half of the field, directly into the Elfheim Eagles territory. And the reason why that took place is because over here in the top. So, Chargatek the I believe the blitzer, he actually tries to move up and actually does successfully. Moves to his maximum allowance and actually rushes twice forward in order to tackle the catcher, player number 4. So because of that, he does manage to tackle that character. Unfortunately, though, what ended up happening is that the Kiddo actually rolled a player down result, so she burned up one of her re-rolls in order to re-roll that, so got a power result instead. So because that did puncture his armor, also put a stun knockdown result on him as well, stun result on him as well, so because he's laying face down, the ball did scatter right above him directly to the top. Now from there, Scythe of Skavenblight, the Gutter Runner, moved over here, managed to get out of the tackle zone, maneuvered over here to pick up the ball, but unfortunately failed his pickup test, rolled a 1, so because of that, the Kiddo could use another reroll, so bounce over to this position over here, causing immediate turnover for the top of turn number 6. So with turn number 6 over with, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 6 for the Elfheim Eagles. So that takes us directly to the bottom of turn number 6 for the Elfheim Eagles, and this one results in a touchdown for the Elfheim Eagles. And just like that, the Elfheim Eagles now are leading 2-1 in this game. So let's go ahead and talk about exactly what ended up happening. So first off, this player over here, this blitzer, I believe that's blitzer number 10. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 6. There you go. Blitzer number 6. His name is Galadrinan Shadowstar. He actually throws a block directly into Charkatek, the Dominator. Managed to push that guy over the side of the power result. Also put a knockout result on him as well. Now, the big play, however, took place with over here player number 3, Liaster Bright Knife, the catcher. He actually moves up over in this area, actually passes an initiative test and jump over his friend, passes his agility test to get out of the tackle zone of Skavenblight, and actually moves directly to the end zone, scoring a second touchdown for the Elfheim Eagles. So just like that, my friends are going to re-rack real quick, so that way their friends can play another round, and we'll come back right after the kickoff. All right, so we're back with the kickoff. This time again, the players for the Elfheim Eagles are now up to full number of players, back to 11, because they substituted in their very last reserve guy, who was another lineman as well. So as you can see, the Elfheim Eagles are now in perfect alignment for their game. Same thing with the remainder of the Skavenblight Scramblers. Unfortunately for my sister Kiddo, she is playing in a handicap with 3 less players. However, when the ball went for the kickoff table, we got brilliant coaching. So once again, the Elfheim Eagles get additional reroll for this drive. So now they have 3 rerolls for the first half, not using a single one so far. And at the same time, the ball bounced right over here, almost right in front of Plague Rule the Infected, which is the throw for the team. So with that being said, with the kickoff over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 7 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So that takes directly to the top of turn number 7 for the Skavenblight Scramblers, and some impressive action take place over here. First of all, this lineman actually throws a block directly into this blitzer, managed to push him aside as well as follow through, opening up this passageway here for the gunner to go through. Unfortunately, when the Kiddo sent Plague Rule the Infected to pick up the ball, she failed her agility test. Even with her sure hands ability, she failed the real world, so she decided to actually spend her very last reroll for this half in order to get the ball, and she rolled a 1. So because of that, the ball bounced over one more square over where Prairie Golden Infected was earlier, and that causes immediate turnover. So with that being said, we go directly to the bottom, number 7 for the Elfheim Eagles. So we're back with the bottom of turn number 7 for the Elfheim Eagles, and over here the catchers were the ones who actually did the most dynamic action. So first of all, player number 3, which is this catcher over here, that player's name is Liaster Bright Knife, actually moves all the way from the end zone, wide zone, ball rushes all the way down, picks up the ball, and goes for it twice and actually ends up only 3 squares away from actually getting to the infield. At the same time, catcher number 4, that is Cassirion Gladshore, he does a blitz action from his wide zone, skirting around the outside of the Skavenblight, and goes directly and blitzes directly into Plague Rule the Infected. Now, originally the play actually ended up being a push for the most part, but my friend actually wanted to make sure it was successful, so because he spent one of his re-rolls, dropping back to his original 2 re-rolls, and he actually rolled both players down, which actually works out for him as far as he's concerned. So both of them go down. Neither of them get injuries because their armor is perfectly fine, and that also caused immediate turnover for the Elfheim Eagles. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 8 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. Alright, so we're back to the Skavenblight Scramblers. Turn number 8. As you can see, some dramatic action took place over here. What ended up happening is that Scythe of Skavenblight, the gutter runner, he actually moves up in order to pull off a blitz attack. At the same time, Plague Rule the Infected also gets back on his feet again, also goes right next to him, so that way he can give it his tackle zone as well. But Scythe of Skavenblight does smash directly into catcher player number 3, Liaster Bright Knife. The both of them get both knockdown results, so both of them go crashing to the ground, and the ball bounces over one more space as well. And that pretty much makes it the last turn for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So that being said, we come back with the bottom of turn number 8 for the Elfheim Eagles. So that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 8 for the first half, and touchdown number 3 for the Elfheim Eagles. What ended up happening is that player number 4, Cassirion Gladshore, he actually got back on his feet again, which of course took away 3 points of his movement, but he decided to jump over his friend, pass his agility test, another agility test to pick up the ball, and they finished out the last 3 squares of his movement directly into the end zone, scoring a 3rd touchdown right now for the Elfheim Eagles. So that pretty much rounds up turn number the first half of the game, with the Elfheim Eagles up 3-1 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So we're going to come back for the second half, where the Elfheim Eagles will be receiving the ball from the Skavenblight Scramblers. We'll be back when my teams re-rack and start again. Alright, so we're now back for the second half of the game between the Skavenblight Scramblers as well as the Elfheim Eagles. Things are not looking really too good for my little sister, the Kiddo. She is operating with a quarter of her team being injured right now, but she decided to keep on going. She has gotten a quinter, I guess, so that part is absolutely fantastic. So you can see her team was lined up. Same thing with the Elfheim Eagles. Now, when the kickoff table happened, we got open snaps because that 5 members of the Elfheim Eagles got to move 1 additional square forward. So as you can see, my friend Freshman's Bel-Air moved up the members of his wide zone, moved up one of his linemen over here, as well as his members of the wide zone over there as well. Now, the ball did bounce and scatter over here, just 1 blick away from getting into the end zone for a touchback. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and this time we're going back with the Elfheim Eagles going first. Alright, so we're back at the top of turn number 1 for the Elfheim Eagles, and some dramatic things have occurred over here on the pitch. So let's go and talk about exactly what ended up happening first of all. So first of all, this blitzer up here, blitzer number 6, that player's name is Galadriel. He actually threw a block directly into Charkarek, the Dominator, which is one of the blitzers for the team, actually managed to hit him, puncture his armor, and rolled boxcars for his injury. So because he becomes a casualty, and when they rolled up for it, rolled a 15. So because of that, Charkarek, the Dominator, is now dead. So just like that, my little sister, the Kiddo, lost another one of her team members. So that part was kind of rough. Now, to add insult to injury as well, this player, thrower number 1, Renrail Brightwand, he actually moves up, grabs the ball, gets the initiative to get that ball going, moves up his maximum movement allowance all the way to the top, throws the ball for a short pass directly into this player over here. This player is catcher number 3, Eliaster Bright Knife, who managed to catch the ball. He moves up his maximum allowance and actually rushes twice, so he's only 3 squares away from the end zone as well, also earning himself a star player point at the same time. So because of the wide zone now up here is wide open. Meanwhile, down over here, blitzer number, what's his name, 5, Masteran Pure Sky. This is the same guy who's been causing all kinds of damage today. Throws another block into play number 5, Morphin, which is a lineman. Managed to put a casualty on him by breaking his armor, and puts him in the casualty box with a badly hurt injury. So because of that, he will miss out the rest of the game as well. So almost half of the Kiddo's team is currently out of the action right now. At the same time, these guys move forward, throwing in blocks, pushing, as well as knocking people over. And that pretty much makes a very dramatic turn number 1 for the Kiddo. So with that turn over with, we go directly to the bottom turn number 1 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So now we're back with the bottom of turn number 1 for the Skavenblight Scramblers. So the first thing that ends up happening is a Kiddo tries to dodge. Unfortunately, Plague World the Infected gets activated first. He fails his dodge, so because of that, he does fall, and because of that, he does fall and also trips up. Now the Kiddo did, of course, try to use up one of her rerolls in order to do so, but unfortunately for her, though, she failed the second time around, so he fell, causing immediate turnover for turn number 2. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2. Alright, so it takes us directly to the top of turn number 2 for the second half, and touchdown number 4 for the Elfheim Eagles. What ended up happening is that player number 3, Eliaster Bright Knife, moves up 3 squares directly to the end zone and gets himself a touchdown, also earning himself 3 star player points, and the game current right now is at 4 touchdowns versus 1. At this point, my little sister, the Kiddo, decides to call it quits and kind of concedes the game early. You really can't blame her. I mean, she's been doing pretty good for the first half of the game, but the fact that almost half her team is currently not playing right now, it's going to be really stacked up for the odd and the favor for the Elfheim Eagles, so she basically gives up. And my friend, Freshman's Bel-Air, he basically agrees as well. He realized that, yeah, there's no way she's going to be able to pull off a victory, especially when half her team is currently down. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the post game because this game is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Alright, so now it's time for the post game. Let's go and talk about the Skavenblight Scramblers played by my little sister, the Kiddo. For her outcome, she lost this game by only scoring 1 touchdown, so because of that, she unfortunately scored 0 league points. Her winnings, however, she managed to score 45,000 gold pieces, so that part's kind of nice. For dedicated fans, nothing changed at all, but for injury, she had quite a bit. Blitzer number 3, Charkarek, the Dominator, he actually ended up being dead, so he's eliminated from the roster. Blitz for number 4, Mage, as well as lineman number 5, Morphin. Those two guys actually suffered badly hurt injuries, but they made full recovery, so they're perfectly fine. Same thing with Gunrunner number 12, Toxiad. He also got badly hurt, but he made a full recovery. Now, as for lineman number 8, Itcaster the Burnt, he suffered lasting injury, suffering a broken arm, so because of that, he loses 1 point in his passing ability, so he's 5+ on passing now. At the same time, he'll also miss out his next game as he tries to recover from his broken arm. Now for advancements, 2 members of this team did advance up. Gutter Runner number 11, Scythe of Skavenblight, learned the pro skill and increases value by 10,000 gold pieces. And the MVP for this team was Rat Ogre player number X, Scalpific. He learned the Stand Firm skill and also increased his gold piece value by 20,000 gold pieces as well. Now for the inducements for this team, originally they started off with 15,000 gold pieces in the treasury. They earned 45,000 gold pieces from the gang, giving a brand total of 60,000 gold pieces in total. As for the Kiddo, she said to place all of it in the treasury for next time, so that way she can recruit herself another blitzer. Her current record now is at 0 wins as well as 1 loss, and her new team rating now is at 925 points. So up next, talk about the Elfheim Eagles, which is played by my friend Fresh Prince Bel-Air. For his outcome, he won the game by scoring 4 touchdowns, as well as earning 4 league points for himself, 3 for winning and +1 from scoring 3 or higher touchdowns in his game. Now for his winnings, he managed to score 75,000 gold pieces, and he increased his dedicated fan base by 1 point. For his injuries, lineman number 7, Cameranath Tendersong, suffered a badly hurt injury, but he made a full recovery, so he's perfectly fine. Now for advancements, several members of this team did level up. Catcher player number 3, Yasther Bright Knife, chose the sprint skill and increasing their value by 20,000 gold pieces. Catcher number 4, Kiasriom Gladshore, also learned the pro skill, increasing their score by 10,000 gold pieces in value. Blitzer number 5, Masserane Pure Sky. This guy was a beast the entire game. Learned the safe pass as well as the pro skills and increasing their gold piece value by 30,000 gold pieces. And then finally, lineman number 12, Inrolair Black Karen, got the MVP on this one. They learned the Surefoot skill and increased their gold value by 10,000 gold pieces. Now for the inducements, they originally started with 20,000 gold pieces in the treasury. They managed to score 75,000 gold pieces from the gang, giving them 90,000 gold pieces in total. With those 90,000 gold pieces, they spent 50,000 gold pieces to get a third reroll for this team, and they placed the remaining 40,000 gold pieces into the treasury. Their new record now is at 1 win and 0 losses, and their new team rating now is at 1,100 points. So that's good difference, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. So catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.